So at one point through the Hangout, I'll just say if you already know how to use Schoology, blah, 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 feel free to pop out. So I am recording this. My name is Jen Johnson, and I am a secondary ELA teacher and teacher librarian. This year I'm with EdTech. You can see, I think it's ironic because my last name gets misspelled all the time. The Johnson gets an H in it. And I went to the YouTube Teacher Academy and they spelled my name right and they misspelled my school. They couldn't spell Valley. So I'm from Ralston Valley High School. This year I'm on my second year of a TOSA rotation, and then next fall I'll be back at Ralston Valley High School. So there's my YouTube credentials there. You go to a cool little YouTube Google Academy, that's a picture you see in the lower left, and they make you a YouTube star teacher. You spend 2 days making all kinds of stuff, but you don't have to do that because I'm going to share everything that they covered in the YouTube Star Teacher Academy with all of you in this class. So I want to kind of take a peek at the class. The class runs for 6 weeks, from February 18th to March 26th. Our last week would hit during spring break, but there's no way I'm going to make anybody work over spring break. So I will open up the last session, and you can be done with the class on March 26th, or I just give you 2 more weeks to get the last one done and your final projects. If you've taken other classes from me, I know Chris, you took Wired Writing. That's got quite a bit of writing work in it. This class is all hands-on projects, so the only writing you'll do is in the discussions, and everything else is really hands-on. So you'll be making playlists. You'll be editing videos that are on YouTube so you can just show part of them. And eventually you'll be making your own videos to put on YouTube. You only need to log in twice a week for this class. Our session starts technically tomorrow, is session 1, although it's open right now for anybody that wants to get a head start. And then we go Wednesday to Tuesday so that we all have a weekend in there. So Wednesday morning, that's when the new week's worth of content opens up, and then you have until Tuesday to get it done. And you can do it really whenever you want in that time frame. We will all be probably online at different times. This is the only time where we're kind of all online at the exact same time. And then everyone will get clock hours credit for taking this class. I think it's 30. I could be wrong with that, and that will just show up on your ESS report automatically. And then if you want other credit options, I'll talk about those in just a second. So here's what we're going to be covering in the class. So session 1 is, why in the world you would use YouTube and deal with the filter. Why not just use something else? And then you're all going to get your YouTube channel set up. And when you set up a channel, it comes with a 15-minute limit. And some of us occasionally want to upload a video longer than that. So we'll show you how to get that gone right away. And then session 2, you're going to learn about playlists, which are one of the coolest tools in YouTube. That allows you to, again, if you only want to show 30 seconds of someone else's video, this is the tool you've been looking for. And I'll show you how to create playlists and embed them in Schoology and on Google Sites if you use Google Sites. Session 3, we'll tackle Iboss, and I'll show you how you can share videos with kiddos and how kids can use YouTube in their projects. So we have some filter-friendly tools in Jeffco, and then Schoology is probably our best tool as a teacher, and I'll show you how to work with the filter, just so that all the cool stuff that we're creating in YouTube can actually be shared with kids. And then session 4, it switches. So sessions 1, 2, 3, you're consuming great content on YouTube. I'm going to show you how to find existing videos that are aligned to Common Core. I'm going to show you how to find some of the cool stuff in YouTube. And then session 4, 5, and 6, we switch it from being YouTube consumers to YouTube producers. So in session 4, you're going to make your first screencast. And I have a variety of tools that you can use: Screencast-O-Matic, Jing, Explain Everything, Educreations, whatever you want to do, and the Smart Recorder, which is built into your smart boards. So we will explore a lot of those. You can pick whichever one you want, and you'll make a short little screencast. And then in session 5, I'm going to show you how to edit it, because if you don't know how to edit it, you end up making it over and over and over again if you're a perfectionist and you made a mistake, or the phone rings, or something happens when you're making a screencast. And I'll show you just how you can edit that out instead of starting over in session 5. And then session 6 is your final project. So we'll talk in that session about flipping the classroom and different ways to use video. And your final project is on the next page. You'll notice at the very bottom of this page, Screencast-O-Matic Pro is probably the cheapest video editor. And I will share my Pro account, log in with you. It's only $15 a year, but I don't want anybody to go out and buy anything unless you decide you like it. YouTube's video editor is free, And YouTube or WeVideo's video editor is also free. So anyway, there is one editor in the class that costs money, and I'll let you try mine out so that you can see if you want it, or you can just use the free ones. All right, so our goal is to look at ways we can use YouTube to enrich and engage. This is really the fun part. So kids are naturally drawn to video, and we'll explore some really great video gems that enrich and engage kiddos. And then also, if you are flipping classroom or pre-recording your instruction, even if you're not doing a traditional flipped classroom model, you have this great resource archive that you can differentiate for kids. So as soon as you record your instruction, it's on demand. Kids can rewatch it, watch it again, or then you have it for the next year if kids are ready to accelerate. So I have digitized much of my instruction. It took time for sure, but now that I have it, it's much easier for me to differentiate because I have it all just on demand, and I can assign instructional videos as needed. And then of course I do want you learning how to make your own screencast. So we're going to find good content and make good content for YouTube. And don't worry, when we get into putting our work onto YouTube, I will make sure to show you how you can set it so only people that you want to see your video can see it if you're not quite ready to go public on YouTube. So our typical session work I don't think is overwhelming at all for this class. So you'll have a weekly discussion, and this is the only thing that has to be turned in before the due date, because if I had us all posting the discussion on Tuesday, then we would have no time to reply to each other's posts. So I will show a discussion. I'll show you how to post in it really quick, but your first post just needs to be in by midnight on Saturday, which gives us all time to go back in and reply to each other. And the rubric for the discussions is right here. I'm going to pull this up right now. It's a 10-point assignment, so you earn, I know it's loading for a lot of you right now, 3 points just for getting it in on time. So you get the full 3 points if your first post is in on Saturday and that your replies to other people are on a different day than your first post. That just shows me you went into the class twice. So you could make your first response today, and then you could reply to people tomorrow, and you get all 3 points. Or you could make your first post to the discussion on Saturday and reply to other people on Tuesday, and you'll still get your 3 points. And then you get 4 points for the content of your post. It just needs to be relevant to the topic. Specific examples are very much appreciated. And then you get your last 3 points by replying to other people. And you'll get just 1 point if it's just like a like a Facebook like I like that. That was a great idea. If you add anything else to it, like share a similar example or ask a question or share another idea, just kind of beyond just the hey, good job, then you earn your 3 points for that. So most of the time, the only time people ever lose points on discussion is just because they're busy and they haven't had a chance to get in and post by Saturday. But it's other than that, usually everybody gets their full points for that. And then every session you'll have an assignment. So session 1, you're going to create your channel. In session 2, you're going to make a playlist. In session 4, you're going to make a video. So your session assignments are just hands-on application of the content that we are looking at in the class. And then the very final thing you'll do, and you can use all of the videos we make along the way for this, is that you'll turn in a playlist to me at the end. It's going to have 3 videos on it that you make. So in session 4, you're already going to have made 1. So between session 4 and session 6, you need to make at least 2 more videos. These can be screencasts where you're recording the screen and your voice, or it can be a live video. Either way, we'll go through all kinds of different options for that in session 4. And then at least one of the videos needs to have annotations on it, and YouTube has a built-in annotation editor that's very cool. So little messages can pop up, or you can highlight certain areas of your video. So one of those has to have that. And one video will be edited, and you will have done that already in session 5. So you really will you'll make this bottom one here in session 5, you'll make the top one in session 4. So between sessions 4 and 6, you just have to make one other video. So your final project playlist is kind of built as we go through the class, and it will, by the time you're done with the class, you'll have 3 videos that you can use with your students. Now, I went through sessions 1 and 2 last night, and YouTube changes things all the time. So already I've redone one of the videos in session 2 because YouTube moves buttons around, it changes the way things look. So if there's minor changes, I don't redo the video. If there's a major change, I will. So if there's a few little things where the button's now red instead of green, or it's moved, just kind of expect that. And if anybody gets really stuck, let me know. Occasionally they change things so quickly on me that it's changed after I've made the video. Makes it for a really fun experience because YouTube's always improving, but changing all the time. So here's kind of the credit options for the class, just kind of our last little bit of business before we wrap things up. Everyone who signed up is already getting clock hours for this class, that bottom option. You don't need to do anything at all. You're just going to get clock hours. They'll show up in ESS. You may get grad credit for this class if you want to. It's worth 2 credit hours, but Adams State processes that, gives you a transcript, so they'll charge you their tuition fee, which is $55 credit hour. So in the course is a link to the Adams State thing where you fill out a form, you send them the money, and then after I turn grades in, you'll get a 2 grad credit course on your transcript, basically, from Adams State. And then Jeffco in-service we still offer. It was, back in the day, back in the good old days when we could get in-service credits to move up the pay scale by level. You could use grad credit or in-service credit, and for the last, I don't know, 2-3 years, you guys might help me out there, but that's not been available. So it costs an extra $15, but right now nobody's really doing it because there's no pay incentive. So it's still available if you want to. You just contact Katie Eck down there at the bottom of the screen if you have any questions about the credit that you will get.
Would that in-service credit, though, help if you want to do the tech certificate?
You do not need to take in-service credit for the tech certificate unless you want to. You can still do the tech certificate and just have taken the class normally.
Okay.
But if they ever decide to give us pay raises by level and they decide to count in-service like they used to, then it's helpful to already have that, and it only costs you $15 if you want to bank in-service credits. And for the pay scale inside Jeffco, they count similarly to grad credit. Like to move up a level, I forget how many it was, but for level one of them, it was like half have to be grad credit, but the other half could be in-service credit. So lots of people were banking up in-service credits because that really helped you move up levels, not steps. So it's not a bad idea. It's only $15, but again, Katie will answer, like if you're like, well, will this expire? It doesn't, as far as I know, but she's got all that information, and it just goes in-service credit, then also is tracked in ESS for you, separate from clock hours. Clock hours are just what you need to relicense, and you need 90 clock hours every time you go to relicense. So this one will give you a big chunk of those. All right, so the next part of what I'm going to do is show how to turn off Iboss and how to get into our Schoology class. So if you already know how to do all that, you will not hurt my feelings by dropping off, but it is essential that you know how to get around Iboss because all the really cool features of YouTube require that you know how to get to the real YouTube, because if we're at school and you type youtube.com, all you end up with is a screen that sends you to clean video. Good for students, bad for us. So I'm going to go into how to bypass Iboss and navigate Schoology, and if you already know how to do that and you're dropping off, I will just see you online. So my screen's going to change. You'll still be following me. It's going to be a little bit hard for me to show how to bypass Iboss because I am not at school right now, but I'm going to go to Employee Connections and I will show you how to do it. So from Employee Connections, which is loading slowly, there is a Logins button, tab, whatever, right at the top there. And if you choose that, one of the options is the Iboss web filter. And if you just select Iboss web filter over there on the right, mine is going to say not available, but it will bring up a window for you to sign in with your credentials, and you just leave the little window open, and then you can go to YouTube and you'll be golden. So that's one way. Another way to bypass Iboss, besides going to Employee Connections, is just to go to any site that's blocked. I will often go to redbox.com. A lot of my friends go to facebook.com. You just need to bring up the filtering login screen, you bypass it, and then as soon as the filter is bypassed, then you can type youtube.com and you'll get to this real YouTube that you're going to see here in a minute instead of clean video. So all of the behind the scenes teacher kinds of tools that we as teachers have in Jeffco that our kids don't have, those can only be accessed from the real YouTube. They can't be accessed from clean video, which is just a filter thing that Iboss built for us. So make sure you know how to do that. If you get stuck there, just let me know. I'll walk you through it one time and you'll be golden. Your teacher librarians also are quite skilled in overriding the filter. So now I'm going to log us into Schoology. So I'm going to go to Jeffco and I'm going to go again to the logins page. And I will go down to Jeffco Schoology in the logins list once it loads up. You can also just type Jeffco Schoology into Google and you'll be able to find it that way too. Just make sure you always go into Jeffco Schoology, not the regular public Schoology. Our screen, I'm going to go to this login button here, is yellow and bluish purple. We have an argument. I don't know. I think this one looks kind of bluish, but when you get into Schoology, it's a little more purple. You sign in with your username, password that you use for computers, ESS, email, and you choose login. I'm going to clean up my browser a little bit so I have fewer tools showing for you. All right, so this is usually when you land in Schoology, you have a recent activity feed of all that's going on in your classes. Mine's blank right now because I have too many classes, so Schoology just stopped sending me notifications. But you'll have kind of all the recent activity in your groups and classes. To find our course, just go up to the Courses menu, which is kind of up here at the top, and click on that tab. And then you'll scroll through the list. I'm guessing it'll be last for all of you. And it's called Harness the Power of YouTube. And this is the kind of little icon you're looking for. You're in section 4, which just means it's the 4th time we've offered the class. And then that will drop you into the class. So the credit information folder is right down here at the bottom with the link to the Adams State Grad Credit. Course info really is just some rubrics and the syllabus and more about me, so you really probably don't need to go there. And then the sessions folder is where you'll go every week to find your stuff. So I'm going to click on sessions. And then all of these sessions 2 through 6 are going to be grayed out. So they're kind of a light gray. That just means when you log in, you're not going to see them. But just go to whatever session you see. I put them in reverse order so that the newest one always pops up on top. But you can see session 1 is light. It's not grayed out. And it is where you start. So you'll click on the title of the session to drop in there. And then you'll end up in kind of like a little outline view of it. And if it's your first time in, just start at the top and work your way through. So the webinar is going to go on this page. And then I just play a game of next and back. So these next and previous buttons are up at the right. And I can go through many of these pages. You'll see will have a YouTube video on them, not surprisingly. And it will work for you even at school, which is lovely. So YouTube, Schoology is one of the ways I get my YouTube videos to students, with this one little caveat. So there's a video on this page. You just can't see it right now because I have embedded it in such a way so that it will get around Iboss. Super, super easy. But then the shield icon appears in my address bar for my browser. I'm going to kind of put my mouse up there. So there's that little shield icon in Chrome. And kids my kids are well trained just to click the shield, and then they choose, when you click that shield, it says load unsafe script. And you select load unsafe script. And they only have to do this once per time browsing session, and then the video appears for them. So this is a video on YouTube that will show to students through the filter. So you can just kind of go previous, next, previous, next. I'm going to go back up to the outline view, and I do that by clicking on the title of the folder. It says session 1, Why YouTube. And then I can also hop to certain things. So if I went through part of it and then I'm ready just to I just want to skip to the discussion because I've already read all of the content before that. Then the discussion icon has little bubbles that denote it, and I just want to, if you're a Mac user, make sure you don't have the problem I do. I have to double click or I lose all of my discussion posts. So here's the discussion for this week. You can answer any one of these questions. Okay, so you'll answer it. So Catherine's gotten this far but hasn't been able to see the webinar. She's the one that was emailing me. But based on this, I will type in my ideas to the questions. Now, when you click post, that box that's around my writing is going to disappear and my post is going to kind of move up on the page. If it doesn't, click post again. So I clicked post once and nothing's happening, so I'm going to click it again on my Mac and now it goes up. Just make sure when you post in the discussion that it actually moves out of the box. Otherwise, you're having a little trackpad kind of issue like I am, and you just need to click it one more time. So occasionally people were like, I know I posted by Saturday, I know I did, and my post got lost. So just make sure it's up here. It'll be time-stamped. It says today at 5:23 p.m. And you can always go in and delete your own posts. You can't delete other people's posts, but you can delete your own if you would like to. When you come into a discussion, you're going to need to reply to people, again, on a different day than you make your first post, and you're just going to click reply, and you get a little indented box beneath the person you're replying to, and you can type them a message. And that's how it will appear. You'll see my post reply, and that's how it appears. So that's kind of how you post to a discussion. Everything else I think is pretty self-explanatory. The next and previous buttons are how you get through all of the content in the session, and the very first page in the session will kind of tell you what you need to do, and then the last page, I can get to the last page. There's a handout on bypassing Iboss right in there too. So this is going to tell you how to customize your channel and your defaults so your videos can go up as private or unlisted, and then you're going to turn in your channel on this page. That's your assignment for this session. And then the looking ahead page is kind of like you've reached the end and you'll see the little binoculars. So that's how you get around in Schoology. Once you've done one session, you'll be a pro at it and you won't have any, it'll be just a piece of cake. So questions about that? I think that's it. I'm going to pull back up the webinar. Feel free to jump in here. All right, let me go to the very last slide and make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Okay, that's it. Questions. So, thanks for joining the Google Hangout. Actually, I feel like it worked a lot better than Blackboard Collaborate. And this recording will be posted in the course, but you guys don't need to watch it because you were here. So, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you all online.
Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jen.
See ya. And if you hover over the middle of the Hangout, there's like a hang up icon, or you can just hit the X for the window.